A routine drive, a sudden police encounter, and gunfire that changed everything. In Buenos Aires, one man was blamed for a tragedy he may not have caused, and it took more than a decade for the truth to emerge. This is the case of Fernando Ariel Carrera. On January 25, 2005, in the Pompeya neighborhood of Buenos Aires, Fernando Ariel Carrera was driving his Peugeot 205. Earlier that day, a robbery had been reported nearby. Police believed Carrera matched a suspect description. Officers attempted to stop his car, but according to later court findings, they were not clearly identifiable as police. Fearing he was being targeted by criminals, Carrera accelerated. That decision would prove catastrophic. As Carrera tried to drive away, police opened fire. He was hit multiple times. Reports later confirmed 8 gunshot wounds. Critically injured, he lost consciousness while still behind the wheel. His car continued moving. Roughly 200 meters later, it mounted the footpath. 3 pedestrians, 2 women, and a young child were killed. Carrera survived, but barely. In the immediate aftermath, authorities framed Carrera as a criminal. Officials claimed he had committed the earlier robbery. They said he fled police intentionally, and they argued he was responsible for the deaths that followed. Despite being unconscious at the time of impact, Carrera was charged with robbery and aggravated manslaughter. Public opinion hardened quickly. The case became known as the Masacre de Pompeya. In June 2007, Carrera went to trial. Prosecutors argued he initiated a chain of events that led to the deaths. The court agreed. He was convicted and sentenced to 30 years in prison. On appeal, the sentence was reduced to 15 years, but doubts lingered. Journalists and human rights advocates began questioning the evidence. Independent investigations highlighted inconsistencies. Ballistic reports raised questions about timing and trajectories. Witness accounts conflicted. Most importantly, evidence suggested Carrera was incapacitated before his car struck the pedestrians. If true, could he legally be held responsible? The case began to attract national attention. In 2010, filmmaker Enrique Pinheiro released El Rati Horror Show. The documentary reconstructed the incident in detail. It challenged the police version of events, and it argued that Carrera had never been involved in the robbery. Public opinion shifted. Pressure mounted for judicial review. In 2012, Argentina's Supreme Court annulled Carrera's conviction. The justices cited serious flaws in how evidence had been assessed. They ordered a new trial. While not yet declaring him innocent, the court acknowledged that the original verdict was unsafe. It was a turning point. In 2013, Carrera was released while awaiting further proceedings. He was no longer imprisoned, but he was not yet exonerated. Public suspicion remained. The legal process moved slowly. In October 2016, the Supreme Court issued its final ruling. Fernando Ariel Carrera was fully exonerated. The court concluded that evidence had been mishandled. Assumptions had driven the investigation. The conviction could not stand. After more than 11 years, he was legally declared innocent. The ruling reignited debate across Argentina. Critics questioned police use of firearms during vehicle stops, identification procedures, judicial reliance on early assumptions. The case became a symbol of systemic failure, not only for Carrera, but for the victims whose lives were also lost. This story has no easy ending. 3 people died. 1 man lost more than a decade of his life. Fernando Ariel Carrera's case shows how quickly fear, misidentification, and force can spiral into tragedy, and how long it can take to correct a mistake. Do you think justice was ultimately served, or did it come far too late? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories where truth had to fight to be heard.